Hello everyone, welcome back to another Personal Finance for Us video. In this video, we are going to be talking about how exactly do you buy stock? Well, let's go to the computer. Okay, so let's walk through the steps of opening a brokerage account. So I personally have my account with Fidelity, so that's where I'm going to choose to go. All brokerage accounts, the general steps are going to be about the same, of course, but it's just the layout is obviously going to be different. So let's say you've never opened a brokerage account. Go to fidelity.com. Hey, what do you know? Look at the top. You'll click open an account. Now you get to tell them what type of account you want to open. So let's just say we're shooting for that 15% minimum retirement goal. So we want to open a Roth IRA. And then you're not a customer, so you'll put in your information and you will get started. This is where I'm going to stop because I already have a Fidelity account, but you'll have to put in, of course, your name, address, and also be prepared to put in your bank information because that is where Fidelity will draw the funds from to put into your account. Okay, so once you have your login, you will, of course, log in. And you will be taken to some sort of general screen. For Fidelity, we'll click account balances, and then boom, this is really going to be our general homepage we work from. You'll see your total account balance on the top left, and you'll see the breakdown of each of your accounts. The more accounts you have, the longer it'll go down, etc. And you'll see your main balances in the middle. You will note right up here, these tabs is a summary, positions. Positions just tells you your positions, how much money, how many shares of each individual thing that you have. The balances gives you the balances of all of those accounts. In your activities and orders, it lets you know that any orders you have. So if you did put in an order for some shares, and they're waiting to execute, you'll see them here in the activities and orders tab. The other parts to pay attention to, you have trade and you have transfer. I don't mess with pay bills too much. I'm assuming you can pay bills from your Fidelity account, but I've never have. Really, my main two here are going to be trade and transfer. Trade is, of course, when you're ready to trade, aka buy some sort of stock. And then transfer is where you go to bring money from your account to account. So from your banking account to Fidelity or vice versa. So when we are ready to buy something, let's say we want to buy Apple. So here's the first deal. So an interesting debacle happened where a bunch of novice investors wanted to buy Zoom stock and they put in the wrong stock ticker. So it's very important that you put in the correct ticker. Apparently a bunch of people bought this Zoom penny stock and it did not end so well, instead of buying Zoom, the video teleconference company. So if there is a company that you are interested in, or a particular mutual fund you want to buy, it is a good idea to go ahead and search ahead of time if you don't know what that ticker is. So let's say you want to buy some Apple stock. You just put in Apple stock ticker and you'll see it pop up right here, NASDAQ AAPL. So now you go back to your brokerage account and you put in AAPL, and there it is, Apple Inc. Okay, so this here is what is called our order ticket. So if we have multiple accounts, we will have to, of course, put on the ticket which account we want to purchase this stock in. So you'll see two lines when you select the account. You'll see cash available to trade, and you'll see settled cash. Cash available to trade is exactly as it states. That's how much free cash that isn't invested that you have. Settled cash is the literal physical amount that is in your account. So for example, let's just say we had just made a $100 transfer from our checking account to our Fidelity account. If we just did it, we would see cash available to trade would be $100 and settled cash would be $0. And that's just because the actual physical transfer of the funds has not happened yet. But on good faith, Fidelity will go ahead and move the transaction forward for you on the assumption that the money is coming. So those are those two bits there. So we already put in our Apple stock ticker. Again, we verified that that was the ticker for the correct company. This is the price that we are buying at, 112. Now we have to go down to action and we have some options. We can buy, sell all shares, sell specific shares, or do an action with specific shares, I should say. So we're gonna buy. We're gonna say how many shares we want. And then we're gonna give the order type. If you're just buying some shares for right here, right now, that's gonna be what's called a market order. There are other options. We're not gonna get into too much of that for right now, maybe in a future video. But if you're just trying to buy the stock right here, right now, you'll pick market order. If you want it to go during the day, right now, and then you'll click preview order. It'll give you a preview. Again, I'm not gonna click that right now because I don't have any cash to trade. All of my money is actually invested at the moment. It would have been better if I would have waited a couple of weeks to do this, but I want to have this video out before then. But you would click preview order. You would have the opportunity to go over, make sure that's everything you wanted, and then you would click continue. And then that's it. You have officially bought your first stock. Okay, well, what if you don't want to buy an individual stock? What if you want to buy one of those sexy index funds I had mentioned in our stock video, but you don't know where to start? All right, cool. Let's bust out our handy dandy Google here. And an important thing to keep in mind, it does not matter really which brokerage firm you choose. You can choose whichever firm your heart desires. However, you do want to keep in mind that when you are looking at these index funds and mutual funds, as best as you can, particularly with index funds, you want to go ahead and buy the fund that is put together by that particular broker. And that is simply because the whole purpose of index fund investing is to limit the fees and to be able to ride the market at zero or close to zero cost. And if you have a Fidelity account and you get Vanguard's S&P 500 index, Fidelity has their own S&P 500 index. So obviously they want you to buy theirs if you're a Fidelity customer. So if you go ahead and buy Vanguard's, because they offer a similar offering, they're just going to charge you more. So that's something that you are going to want to keep in mind. So for the case of this example in this video, we'll stick with Fidelity since we've opened a Fidelity account. Fidelity best index funds. All right, and we got a list right here. Fidelity 500 index fund. Let's take a peek. So one of the places you can actually do your research on a particular stock or fund is, of course, on the brokerage account itself. You can check out some articles, look at more recommendations, do some more research. You can even put the ticker in the search. But let's go ahead and put it here, and let me actually back up. You see here it says get search or get a quote. So this is where you're going to put your ticker. And here is our info page for the Fidelity 500 Index Fund, or the FXAIX. So anytime you are looking at any sort of index fund or mutual fund, it's going to look something like this. You're going to see the overall Morningstar snapshot. So their overall rating. For anyone that isn't familiar, Morningstar is basically like the bee's knees on looking at various funds. So they rate funds and give all kinds of information for investors when they're to help them better select funds. So they give it their highest rating. Here is how they rate the returns, not total high, but pretty high. The expenses are low. Again, expenses are something that we're going to want to keep in mind when we're talking about funds. And then the risk of this category. Generally, if something is very stock heavy, it's going to be higher risk. And something that's maybe a little bit more bond heavy, you'll see it closer to the lower risk. So we're about medium high risk with this category because there are lots and lots of stocks in this fund. And over here to the right, it's gonna give us some performance measures. So the year to date, 4.8%. Over the last year, it's made about 21.92%. The 3-year is 14.5%. 5 years, it's made about 14.45%. And over the course of 10 years, the fund has made about 15.15%. So not too bad. Down here in the middle right, or middle left rather, is going to be some details about the fund. So how old the fund is, that's something that you're going to want to pay attention to. Newer funds you might associate with a little bit more risk. The expense ratio, again, real cheap, 0.015% for this FXAIX fund. Not too shabby at all. It's hard to get much cheaper than that other than zero, and Fidelity does have some zero funds, by the way. And here to the right is the hypothetical growth of $10,000. So what this is basically it matches the fund that you're researching against the index that it's mirroring. So in this case, it's the S&P 500, and versus a more like general stock blend that you would compare it to. So you can run your mouse along anywhere here on the line to see what you would have made at a particular time frame, and this goes all the way back to the fund's inception. So if we started with $10,000 back in 1988 and we looked at what we would have had today, that $10,000 would be up to $40,987. So this is just a bit of a quick research you can do when you're looking at when you're trying to compare funds. And when you scroll down a little further, they'll always give you the top 10 holdings of a particular fund, meaning the biggest 10 stocks in that fund. And we see the big boys. We see Microsoft, we got some Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Johnson & Johnson, Berkshire Hathaway, Visa, and Procter & Gamble. And it tells us that as of June 30th, it had 509 holdings. So that's about how many stocks different companies are in that fund. Pretty cool. All right, so we have done our research. We decide that, yes, we do want to go ahead and buy this fund. We can either click the buy button right here, or we can go back to accounts and trade. Let's just go ahead and click buy right here. And it's going to take us back to our accounts page anyway. And then it's going to give us our trade slip. And it's already filled in for us, the symbol. So again, up top, we have to tell it which account we want to buy with if we have more than one account. And this gives us the price. So at a per share, we're looking at $116.21 per share. The action is going to be buy. And then we're going to put in the amount that we want to invest, preview order, and then we're done. Okay, what if you wanted to buy a bond? Admittedly, Fidelity does not make this super duper obvious like they do with stocks, but I was able to find it nonetheless. So you'll go up here to your ticker and just type in bond, and that'll take you to the search. So here we see fixed income and bonds. We'll give a click. We can see right here individual bonds, bond funds, and bond ETFs. Let's go ahead and click individual bonds, and then we'll scroll down to the bottom where it says next steps, and you'll see find bonds and CDs. So we'll give a click, and here we are. We're on there. Finally, we've made it to the fixed income bonds and CDs page. here they have kind of a general rating, so you can give a quick peek at some of the yields that they've been seeing. And this is everything from U.S. Treasury bonds down to your BBB rated corporate bonds. So we'll go to new issues. And so here's where you would go to purchase some new issue bonds. And let's click on the very first one. This is the Dakota County, I'm assuming Minnesota Community Development Agency. I don't know, anybody knows, feel free to comment down below. That's my guess. And here is going to be your general information about the bond. Okay, so the pay frequency is going to be semi-annually. The coupon rate is 5%. The date of maturity is January 1st, 2026. It is a municipal bond, so there should be some sort of tax incentive in there. And the interest starts accruing the day that the bond is issued. There is call protection, meaning that the issuer can't suddenly decide to take your bond back and then reissue bonds at a lower interest rate. So you're protected there. And the issue date is going to be 9/24/2020, and the first coupon date is going to be January 1st of 2021. So here's where you can find all that general information about the bond. You can click buy up here at the top, which I'm not going to do because I'm not going to buy this bond right now, although it doesn't look like too bad of an option. But that's really it, guys. That is how you buy a bond on Fidelity. And I'm assuming the process is, again, probably similar with any brokerage account. All right, everyone, I hope this little tutorial was helpful. If you have ever been way too intimidated to open a brokerage account before, they don't bite. It's super simple. It's really just like, it's effectively, hey, Bruce. My dogs are over here. You probably can't, oh, you can see them. Hey, Bruce. Tell people hi. Say hi. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. It's a whole lot like opening a standard bank account, except for you're going to use those funds to buy stocks and bonds with. So if you found it intimidating, I hope this short little video helped. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.